everybody, and thank you for tuning in. On this channel, I talk about my homeschooling journey with my 6-year-old twins and my 8-year-old twins. And this topic today I'm very excited about is about homeschool and technology. And one of the reasons I'm really excited about it is because it is the first time that I am actually hosting a collaboration. And so you'll get to hear from a lot of homeschooling families about how they do or they don't, how they do allow or they don't allow technology in their home, or how they moderate it, and that playlist will be in the notes. So make sure you go check it out, because I think you'll get a lot of great ideas. And I want you to know that there is no judgment. However you run your homeschool, whether you use a lot of technology and devices or you don't, it is your family and it is your choice. And that is one of the greatest things about homeschool, is that as long as we're following our state's laws, we can do what we want. But before I go more into that, if you are new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell. That'll let you know when I have new videos that come out. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. It helps me to be seen by other people searching for this type of homeschool content. So let's get into it. I've told you how I feel like technology isn't bad. The devices and TV and all that stuff, that's not bad itself. What is bad is kind of the behavior that can connect itself to technology and TV and all that stuff. And what I've noticed from my own family is that my kids, when they have free reign to TV, they are nightmares. And I'm very careful about what they watch. So it's not the content, it's just that they're not content with anything. They need things to be constantly changing. They're bickering, they're fighting. Who's gonna watch it next? I don't like this show. They're constantly flipping the channel because they just can't sit through one show. And this is after allowing them to have free reign of TV for months. In the very beginning, I noticed they could watch a whole show and sit there kind of peacefully. But as time went on, it was like nothing was keeping them, satisfied. They'd watch 5 minutes of one show and switch it to another one for 5 minutes and then switch it, and then they're fighting and all of this stuff. And I've done this experiment a couple times with my kids. So I know that for my children, when I give free reign to TV, they are nightmares. Nightmares. And that may not be for you. That may not be your story. And again, that's fine. These are my children and my dynamic, and they are not pleasant to be around. It is not pleasant to be in this house. So when we started school and I warned them of this, I said, we're not watching TV. So this is your last week. This is your last 3 days. This is your last day. So they knew, they were prepared. And the first week went by, and it was incredible. It was like a 180. They were calmer. They played more together. They were more polite. There wasn't all of this bickering. I mean, they had their sibling, spats every now and then. They did their chores without grumbling. They did extra things that I didn't even ask them to do. And they were more creative, more productive. They built things, they drew things, they played with toys or games or puzzles and everything that they hadn't played with in a really long time. And I just noticed an overall sense of calm or more peace. Plus, it was more quiet. I feel like when the TV is on, there's just so much noise. There's the noise of the TV and the sound effects, and then there's the kids talking over that, and then that's me. Then there's me yelling to the kids to be quiet and turn the TV down. Ugh. For us, no. Now, we will allow TV on the weekends, but on the weekends, we might go do things. So we might go to the beach, play with friends, go to a park, whatever, or we also have a pool. And if that's one of the options, they can choose to watch TV or go play in the pool, and I guarantee 10 out of 10 times they would prefer to go play in the pool. So they'll probably just end up watching TV in the morning and in the evenings on the weekend, which is totally fine with me, because I don't want to ban it altogether. I don't want them to think that it's bad or it's something that they shouldn't do, because who knows, if they want to grow up with a career in video game design or graphic design or anything having to do computer programs, all this stuff, then they need to have an understanding about it. But at the ages that mine are at right now, I don't think that that's incredibly necessary. Now, my husband is a computer programming guy, and he has a bazillion computers and all that stuff in his hobby side of the house. And he is going to be putting together like a computer programming type introductory thing for the kids to see if there's any interest there. But I think that's different than just allowing them to sit and kind of mindlessly, search on the computer or YouTube or whatever. Now, as far as when they do watch TV on the weekends, if all 4 of them want to watch TV, they know they all have to agree on the same thing. Or they have to agree to take fair turns. So they either agree to watch the same thing, or if there's a show they want to watch that's like 20 minutes, then they know that the next person gets 20 minutes and the next person gets 20 minutes. And if there is any arguing whatsoever or fights that break out or whatever, I have zero tolerance for that, and they know it's getting turned off for the rest of the day. So usually they will try to dispute these things kind of quickly and quietly, because they know as soon as I come in the room, the remote is gone, because I just cannot deal with fights over a TV show. They also know, so let me tell you, we don't have cable. So we have YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Hallmark, and a couple other things. They do know that they are not allowed to watch something unless they have watched it before, because that means that I've approved it. Or if it's something new, they have to ask first. I don't care if it's on Netflix Kids or, whatever, or YouTube Kids. It doesn't matter. They have to ask first, because I've explained to them, clickbait or things may look like a cute little show, but it's still not content that I personally want them to see or want them to see just yet, according to like maturity or, whatever. So they have to ask first. As far as YouTube, I have to be in the room or within earshot if they are watching anything on YouTube. So usually we just don't watch YouTube, because I don't want to be in the room. I don't want to, I just don't want to be in the room and watch YouTube. I just don't. So it's usually if they want to watch something very specific. We do have a couple educational channels that we follow. And so when we're watching those, I'll watch those as well. They also know that regardless of the show, if there is behavior in the show that I hear or see or that they bring to me, I explain to them that that's not behavior that we mimic. It's in the show that we like to watch, but that's not behavior that I want to see them do. And if they repeat that behavior, or if they mimic that behavior in our house, and I know it's directly related to whatever they watched, they get a warning, just so that they know this is the behavior that you're mimicking from the show that I've already told you I don't want to see, and now you've done it, so I'm giving you a warning. If they do it again, that show is gone. We don't get to watch that again. I have little tolerance for that as well, because I know as they get older, they're going to be watching shows that are a little bit more mature and have, heavier topics or whatever. Not so much now, but as they get older. And I really want them to know the difference between this is TV, this is entertainment, and sometimes they use languages or they say things or they act certain ways that, yeah, we like the show. We just kind of have to personally filter out the things that we don't agree with. And so I'm really trying to show them that just because you see somebody do something or say something, that does not give you a free rein to completely mimic that behavior or, speech or whatever. As far as other devices, that's really it. My kids don't have phones. They're 6 and 8, and our personal conviction is that a child does not need a phone until they are going someplace that I'm not going to be. And that's not anywhere near yet. So we'll have that conversation when they get older. They also do not take my husband or mine's phone. We have iPhones, and one, because we just don't think it's appropriate for our kids to carry around phones, and 2, they're expensive and have kids that break things. And I honestly don't know if they even know that our phones have apps or things for kids or whatever on them, because we've just never given our phones to them. We just never do. We ask our family not to do that either, because there's access to so many things that I just don't want them to have access to. Even on Facebook, even though I try to keep my Facebook as clean as possible, there's always something that somebody could post or pop up, or an ad that I just don't think is appropriate for them to see. So they don't have use for our phones. The only thing that my son likes on my phone, and I allow him to look at this when I am right with him, and I have a code on my phone so he can't just open it anyway, are these 3 apps. The Weather Channel, the weather that comes with the iPhone, and My Radar. And he likes going on these because he likes tracking the hurricanes because he loves weather. So he'll go here and he'll put on the different layers and stuff. But that's if I'm in the room with him, I know where my phone is, I can hear it, I can see it and all that stuff. And sometimes my daughter will take it to use pictures because you can take pictures even if it's locked. So she just likes to take a couple pictures, but that's really it. We don't have any iPads, Kindles, handheld video games. We don't have any of those. Well, I think my husband has an iPad that he uses for business, but I don't really ever see him with it. And we have laptops, but again, we don't give them free reign to the laptops. They have to ask, again, because it's expensive. It's my laptop and I don't want them just carting it away. And again, I have to monitor what they're doing, and that's usually for reading aids or for a typing program, or if I'm looking up something that goes along with what we're learning about, they'll watch me. But even then, I'm careful because you never know what's going to pop up in a Google search. But that's about it. And again, I'm looking at my notes here. It's not because I'm against it. It's just because at their age, for my family, I just don't think it's necessary. And I'm not against video games. We are a gaming family. We probably have every video game console ever made, basically, if I'm being honest. We just haven't hooked them up really since we've had kids. My husband and I were like complete obsessed gamer nerds. That's actually how we met, because we both were obsessed with Diablo way back when, and Icewind Dale and all of these games. And when we were stationed in Iceland, we just played and played and played because there was really nothing else to do a lot of the other times. And he's a computer programmer, so we love our technology. But maybe it's because we have a lot of tech knowledge that we're just a little bit more careful with our kids. But I don't want to hold the reins so tightly that then when they do get a chance to go out on their own, that's all they want to do because they were restricted from it so much. We just personally don't think that right now at the age that they're at, that they need to do that, because I'm still wanting them to find their own personal creative outlets with the things that they have, with the things that they can make up on their own and create on their own and bond together, playing things together. And we'll work in video games, slowly in the future, but just not right now for us. And finally, the last thing, they also know that when we are out, they are not allowed to look at somebody else's device. Like if there's a kid that has an iPhone or an iPad and they're watching it, they're not allowed to just go sit and watch and, play with whatever they're doing. Because, for example, at my son's baseball game, there's a lot of siblings that sit in the stands and, they have to be there. So they just pull out their phone, or their parents give them their iPad or whatever. And for me, this is their outside time. So they need to go run and play. They have plenty of time when we get home to sit inside the house. But right now we're outside. They need to run off their energy. They are 6 and 8. You need to go run around the field, go play at the playground, play in the dirt, make some grass salads or whatever, find some bugs, and play. And not sit there with, a device in your face and totally be lost to the things around you. Also, I don't know what that child is or is not allowed to watch or play. And I don't want to have to, monitor what they're doing. So my kids know that if somebody whips out a device, I'm sorry, you need to go and play. You need to go run around. Bring toys with you, some shovels or trucks or whatever. And they're totally fine with that. I have not had them balk at any of that, because that's how it's just always been. Our rules that we've had, that's just what's always been in place. So we've never had any blow-ups or issues or bad attitudes about it. The only attitude that I've ever witnessed, like I said earlier, was when we give them free reign to TV. They are just bickering at each other, and it's just this impatientness and all of this stuff. And when we take it away, it's just a 180. And just from seeing that, I'm like, oh, they're just not ready to add in anything else. And I'm not taking TV away completely, because on the weekends, they'll be able to watch what they want to watch. If they choose to watch TV over playing in the pool or, painting or whatever, that's totally fine. It's the weekend, that's for them. Because I do want them to work on kind of monitoring or making choices. Do I want to watch TV, or do I want to go outside and ride my bike? Things like that. I guess what I don't want them to feel is that they always need a phone or an iPad as soon as they get a resting moment. Oh, I'm sitting down, I have to whip out my phone. I want them to be okay with not having to do that, and knowing that sitting with your thoughts is okay. So that's kind of how we run technology in our house in general. Not even so much homeschool. I mean, like I said, for homeschool, maybe reading eggs or typing or looking up things for our unit studies, but that's about it. And we'll probably incorporate some things later on, maybe not, we'll see. I'll just tell you our top 4 channels that we usually watch. Art Hub for Kids, it is great. Whether you have kids that can draw or no drawing skills, it is absolutely amazing. They have a million different things that they draw alongside of you. And they teach you like line by line as you're drawing. It is fantastic. The next one is Science Max. It's this guy, he's just really great, and he does all of these awesome science experiments that the kids love. The 4th one is Blippi, of course. And the 5th, what was that? 3? That was 3, right? Number 4 is Operation Ouch. And it's these 2 doctors that they literally do everything with the body, having to do with the body, teaching about the body, but in a way that kids absolutely love. My kids would watch this show for hours and hours and hours if I let them. They deal with everything having to do with broken bones or germs or even your bowels, anything at all that has to do with your body, they discuss in really fun and interesting ways. So those are the 4 channels that we typically watch a lot of when we are wanting to watch YouTube. But that's it for me, and I hope that was enjoyable for you. Again, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the playlist in the notes below, and leave in the comments how you do technology in your house. But as for me, that's it, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful week.